So today we're gonna make a ramp for the tiny house. It's gonna be 6 foot long and about 4 foot wide. We're gonna use 4x4s on the bottom for stability, and then we're gonna use 2x4s 4 foot wide to go across. So we'll measure out our 2x4, which is 8 foot long, and we're gonna go half of that, which is 4 foot. So we'll mark 4 foot there. And I don't have a chop saw, so what I do is I take my speed square and I set it here. I line up my mark with the eye so you can see where the blade's gonna go, and then I make sure my square is flush on this side here, and then I slide my saw up against it, and that'll give you a square cut every time. And as you're cutting through it, you want to kind of pick up on the board, so this way it doesn't go, the boards don't go down and pinch the blade. You pick up on it a little bit and it'll actually widen that gap a little. And make sure that we're the same length, which we are, and kind of clean it up a little bit. So this side is pretty rough on looks. This side looks a lot better, so we're going to use this side to go face up for the floor. And I've got a little piece of wood here. It's a 1.5 inches wide, and it's just a 2x4 that cut a chunk off of, and it's the same size as this 2x4. So I've got 2 marks right here, and that's where I want to line up my drill with. And that's where the screws will be placed whenever we're putting it all together. Just make a couple marks real quick and pre-drill the holes. Minimize splitting whenever you're putting the screws in. And we'll do that to this side over here too. So I've already went ahead and pre-drilled all of the boards that I'm going to need. But that's the basic setup on how I did everything else. For the 4x4s, I've got some 3.5 inch sinker screws, and on the end here I've cut it at an angle so that way it'll sit flush up against the house, and it'll come out and lay on the ground, so it should look fairly decent. Alright, so we'll attach this here, and we drop down 1.5 inches to accommodate for our 2x4s that are laying on top of it. send these home. That first one, see it kind of pushed back whenever I was drilling it in, so we're going to back it out. Push into it. And that'll help stiffen it up, because whenever you first push it in, the board, when the screw hits that backboard, it'll push it out a little bit and create a gap. So when you back it out, you push it back up, and then you can send it all the way in, because then it doesn't have to cut into this board. It can just grab what it's already put it hole through and hold it tight. You see it right there where it just did it again. Go back out. Now she should be solid. Do the same thing over here with this one. Drop down an 1.5 inches, which is marked. Battery's dead.
A few moments later.
Hey everyone, the audio for this portion is pretty noisy with vehicles on the road, so I'll explain what's going on here. Here we're putting on the top layer of boards using 2 1/4 inch number 8 decking screws. I put a board on the end with 1 screw per side, so the width of the ramp will stay the same even when we're moving it, to make sure that it is square with the house. I don't have a big framing square, so I can get it close using the speed square I do have. After I get it close, I can use Pythagorean theorem to double check that it is square with the house. When using Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, you want to convert feet into inches. Here, our measurements are 6 foot by 4 foot, which is 72 inches by 48 inches. So, we multiply 72 by 72 and get 5,148 inches. Next, we multiply 48 by 48 and get 2,304 inches. Then, we add both of these together and get 7,488. Next, we find the square root of 7,488, which is 86.53 inches. We measure across from corner to corner and make any adjustments needed so that the measurements from corner to corner read just a hair over 86.5 inches. Now we can go in and start putting in our other boards. Oh no. Apparently I wasn't paying attention and that dropped down another inch. So, pull this out. And raise it back up. Try this again. There we go, much better. Got that fixed. So, now we can place 2x4s across here. Now we can start putting our screws in. So much for pre-drilling the holes, Kyle. Since this one's split, we are going to change it out. And maintenance on these are pretty easy, because if you get a board that breaks or starts to split or anything like that, you can just grab your drill and pull the screws out and replace the board. And that bit is toast. Well, now we have a 6-foot long by 4-foot wide ramp going into the tiny house that I've been working on, and come through and sand it down with some probably 120 grit sandpaper. Just do a quick rough over it, put some sealer on it, and make sure, and that'll keep it from warping, and put the sealant down on it on the top. But the 4x4s are treated lumber, so I don't really have to worry about putting sealant on them. You do need to put sealant on a treated lumber if you cut it. You need the part that you cut is not going to be treated. Some kind of sealant over it, even if it's just some spray paint or something, to keep the water and the elements out of it. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hopefully you learned something. Like, comment, and subscribe.